Hi. It's been a long time no see since the last long form reading that I've done. I've done a ton of shorts, and go check those out if one resonates for you. But it's been a minute since I've done a long form on my laptop. And so, yeah, the quality of the video is not as great as the phone recording, but thanks for being with me. Thanks for being part of this community. Love Frequency Tarot, where we're choosing love moment by moment by moment. That's right. If this reading found you, then that means that you're in resonance with that lifestyle. So welcome to this community. Like, subscribe, and share this video and this reading with anyone that you believe that may resonate with this channel and with whatever the message is going to be. There's already a circle of protection around this reading, but I invite you to go ahead and claim that circle of protection for yourself with a beautiful in-breath and out-breath. Because I'm filming this on the Gemini Cazimi, I'm very curious what sorts of messages may come out, because this is a very auspicious day. If you don't know about the Gemini Cazimi, in May of 2026 on the 22nd, please do some research, because I know we're winding down at the end of this day, and whenever this reading finds you, it is a timeless reading. But Cazimis are pretty powerful astrological events, and I encourage you to learn more about the astrology. All right, enough about that. Let's take a deep breath in together, breathing in love, and breathing out power. Breathing in love, and breathing out power. And let's do that one more time. Deepest breath you've taken all day. Breathing in love. That's right. And breathing out power. Okay, angels, ancestors, and spirit guides. So what do we need to know on this beautifully auspicious day? All right, you are managing your thoughts, my dear. This is the Queen of Swords. It came in reverse, saying, don't forget, remember that you are literally manifesting into your reality exactly what you're thinking. So let's manage those thoughts. Can you tell us more about this Queen of Swords energy? Anything to help clarify that? All right. Don't forget, you're at the beginning of something. This is still a new channel on YouTube, so that's how this resonates for me immediately. But I wonder what it resonates for you immediately upon seeing these two cards and hearing those immediate messages of what has been ruminating in your mind is coming to fruition. They both came in reverse, so as you flip one upright, you flip the other upright, and you just bring it into your conscious awareness, okay? So how can we focus the mind a little bit more? Let's not lose track of it. You know, this Cazimi is in Gemini, and Gemini rules communication, and which means, you know, there's a powerful amount of being able to truly communicate and get your thoughts across. And this is very much the Gemini Cazimi energy of, this is something we haven't experienced before, in a long time rather, where the Sun and Uranus are both in Gemini. So that is that full energy, and this is that Gemini energy of thoughts. What are you communicating about, right? But the Queen of Swords is the master of their mind and allowing spirit to bring you divine insight. Whoa. Let's take that in. Allowing spirit to provide you divine insight. I'm feeling called to share with you a practice that I'm integrating into my life right now, and maybe this will resonate for some of you. I've been reading this book, actually, by Mae McCarthy, The Path to Wealth. And this is 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Abundance. I am not sponsored to mention her. I'm literally integrating this practice into my life right now. She has is the creator of and has managed several multi-million-dollar companies, and she always guides from a very spiritual lens. And so I actually found this book on a walk in my neighborhood. There's many free libraries in the neighborhood that I live in, and this was in one of those little library cubbies, and I just took it, and I've had it for months, and I'm finally getting around to reading it. I don't know if you're like that too, where it's just like you accumulate a lot of great tools, but you trust when you're divinely led to start integrating and reading that book or using that tool. Maybe you yourself have picked up a tarot deck over the years, maybe an oracle deck over the years, and it's just sitting there collecting dust because it doesn't feel like you're divinely aligned to start using the deck. Well, this is definitely a message for you to start using that deck, okay, and exploring your intuition, using the tool of tarot to really honor and start activating this listening path, this inner knowing. But going back to this book, she is presenting working with your chief spiritual officer. That's what she calls it, the CSO. And she has a meeting with her CSO, with Spirit, every morning at the top of her day. And she has a very specific way she outlines how to conduct this meeting. And I've been doing that. And it's actually quite fascinating because she essentially is creating a container to be silent and receptive to Spirit, but also a container to send gratitude toward Spirit, toward the universe, toward Source, toward God, whatever resonates for you. The love frequency, that's what resonates for me. You know, that bigger consciousness that connects us all, that weaves it all together, that lets the manifestation process happen through the laws of attraction, being magnified in your inner knowing that you can master your mind and apply so much gratitude, activate so much love in your heart and in your vessel that everything conspires to come into alignment, right? There's a divine surrender in allowing it. And what I love about this book and how this relates to this is this is saying, these cards are saying a very similar message of allow Spirit to give you the divine insight. Hear the whispers in your soul. Hear the whispers on your heart. Hear the whispers of call that person, send a text to that person, follow up on that email, and it'll just come out of the blue. And when you actually follow that impulse, that divine insight, that divine thought, that's in alignment with what you're trying to manifest. Remember, the Fool is someone who's at the top of one mountain and then has another goal in the distance. Abraham Hicks calls this a rocket of desire. Maybe that will resonate for some of you. But once you achieve one thing, a new rocket of desire is launched, because from that perspective, you now desire a new thing. And that's just being alive. You know, it's not about if that comes off as greedy or conceited. I want to apply some ointment to that calloused heart and that perspective, and remind you that everything in life, it's like we are constantly expanding. That's what consciousness is doing, and we see this in space, and we see this in the cells, right? And we see this in energy, vibration. Everything is going toward expansion. Okay, and that's it's natural. It's a natural occurrence. It's not about feeling greedy. That's a scarcity mentality. And Spirit wants you to remember that you are abundant. The universe has no budget. So launch that rocket of desire. Know what stirs something in your spirit, puts a smile on your heart and on your face, and start listening for the divine whispers. The divine whispers from Spirit, from a state of gratitude. That is imperative. Spiritual hygiene is imperative, all right? But yes, you got to know what you want. This is the Chariot. Upright. So you know what you want. You know what lights you up. Now it's time to go get it. And going and getting it is actually much easier than said than done, in a way, with this message in particular. There are actions to take. You must row the canoe, if you will. In the Chariot, you must move forward, rush forward. But to take action, toward your heart's desire. But we're starting here in this sort of space that's saying, master your mind first, though. Do you believe that you can have it, this thing that you want? Because whatever lights you up is connected to your purpose. It's connected to your destiny. And truly, most of the work is getting out of our own way. Getting out of that, matrix mind, that adult consciousness that's been berated time after time after time. Things just haven't worked out. Or we see the atrocities on this planet. And it's very easy to lower our vibration to a point where we are defeated, to the point where we don't even dream anymore. Spirit wants you to remember, you're just at the beginning. You're just at the beginning. And if you can actually remind yourself, I am just beginning every single day, no matter where you end up going toward your goal, even if you are at the top of a mountain, allow yourself to comfort yourself with those words, I am just beginning. Because you are constantly expanding. And that humility is actually, it's being fueled by gratitude. When you allow yourself to say, I am just beginning, thank you for all that I have. And really, really step into a life that is ignited with thanks to Spirit. Thanks for this beautiful experience. Thank you for that breath I just took. Thank you for this place I just woke up to. No matter the circumstance, can you find gratitude? And slowly but surely, you will continue to hear the call on your spirit get louder and louder and clearer, because it's connected to your destiny. It's connected to your purpose. Everything you've experienced up until this point. Someone here needs to be reminded about this. Everything you've experienced up until this point has been part of your refinement to get really clear on why you're here. What is your contribution? We all have a contribution. Something unique to pour as a solution and as a gift to the world and to humanity. What is yours? It's time to step into it for sure. All right. What else do we need to know? Thank you so much, Spirit. Go ahead, take another deep breath in through the nose, breathing in love. Yes, and breathing out power. I can feel the power. You feel this power? It is like We are here to have fun, my dear. This is what just flew out. This is the Three of Cups, okay? Threes are related to the Empress in the major arcana. The Empress is all about abundance, baby. And here we have this beautiful personification of the Three of Cups with some playful otters and some not so playful otters, some moody otters, right? And this is a beautiful personification. This is the Gaian Tarot by Joanna Powell Colbert. You can learn more about this deck. I have it listed in the description. But I love this interpretation because she's showing you that abundance is a perspective, okay? Joy is a perspective that we tap into. And you can be floating on by with joy, with ease, with gratitude for the moment, feeling so expansive and so abundant that you float, right? I'm remembering a quote that I learned a long time ago from a mentor that was, steer less, float more. Steer less, float more. We're here to be happy otters, okay? We're here to have a good time while we're here and raise the vibration within ourselves to manifest the solutions we're here to uniquely bring to the planet. We're here uniquely to bring to each other, to connect with each other with love infusing each step. Because you know what? As you rise in vibration and you ascend to the version of you that is on that abundant timeline, that has an overflow of abundance, and that can be not just financial, but yes, financial. You can pour out and give to people who need your help. You see, we need money in the hands of people like you who are tapped in, tuned in on love. And I say that so sincerely because you wouldn't be watching to this point in this video if you weren't tuned into love, living a life that is circling, maybe forgetting at times because you're human, right? Your spirit having a human experience. But you are always circling back to, I want to live a life ignited by love, ignited by purpose, ignited by joy, right? And it's all about sustaining that. I already know that you're on this path. I only connect with people who are on this path, right? I'm here for the earth angels, all right? I'm here for the light workers and the divine star seeds and just the humans who are philanthropic and genuinely care about our planet and about each other, okay? You are about to get some really, like, I look at this whole reading now and I see someone who is really remembering their divinity, really remembering the call on their spirit, really remembering that it's allowed to feel good, okay, for you as an individual, okay? The suffering happening in one place on the planet, you know, it is triggering. Absolutely. We don't want to see genocide or let genocide to partake. We don't want war to partake. We don't want women to be victims of abuse or children to be victims of abuse. We want to radically change this world. We don't want to see racism or prejudice of any kind, right? We want a world of love. Well, guess what? We can't escape the contrast that makes this world what it is. Shadow and light, okay? We can't escape it. But we as individuals can raise our inner frequency to, again, get to the place where we have the abundance to pour out and help. I can't remember the book that I read this in, but there was a quote that has stayed with me, which is you can't get poor enough. Like, you cannot get so poor that you can help people that you see are living in poverty, living on the streets, having no resources. If you sink down to that level of poverty because your vibration and your consciousness feels so bad, and like the empathy is actually drawing you down instead of the empathy making you commit even more to your inner work, so that way you can pour out and help someone who's having a difficult time doing that for themselves, right? We can't sink down to be able, we can't sink into that shadow and become part of this contrast that we don't want to see, right? The lack of love. We have to love ourselves. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anyone else? Anybody else, right? RuPaul. So and you know what? I know you're someone who's already committed to this, but this is spirit saying, like, I have some things to tell you, to guide you toward. Can you open up? Can you let it be playful? Can you be curious about those divine insights, those ideas that you get in the middle of the night, or the middle of a shower, or in the middle of a conversation, or while you're driving, or while you're doing your dishes? All of a sudden you get this idea of, like, you know, I should send a letter to this person, or you know what, I should, something about communication. Okay, a lot of it to do with communication, connection, opening doors that way. Or you know what, I should just connect my this thing to that thing on, and make a website and create an email list. I should just take that action, you know. But sometimes the mind can get so overwhelmed with all the things going on, like all the things, and especially my highly sensitive people, my people. I resonate. I'm a highly sensitive person, a highly empathetic person, right? But we have to learn how to manage the mind, and the Queen of Swords is really the stage in the royal suits, right? The page, the knight, the queen, and the king. The queen is the intuition, like listening to that, listening to those downloads, listening to those dreams, listening to the signs and synchronicities as they guide you, This is one of those signs. This reading, I'm hearing that this is definitely a sign for some of you to start spending some time with spirit every day. Maybe you can start writing a letter in the morning, or at least spending some intentional time with spirit. Light a candle. I want to show you my beautiful candle holder. I've had this for a couple of years. It's my lotus inside a lotus candle, and I light it like this. See, a lotus inside a lotus. For my desk candle, you know, for me, I move, and I'm sure this resonates for some of you, and this is encouragement for you, to move at the pace that everything is spiritual. Even my work, my day job work, right? That is spiritual. So I light a candle when I start my day in thanks and gratitude to spirit for my job, for my opportunities, for my home, and the list goes on and on. So how can we create more containers to really hear spirit? Meditation for sure. Dream journaling, absolutely, that's an option here too. Maybe having some great conversations with people that are also in this alignment, that are practicing spiritual, universal truths. Okay. You know, hey, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this community here at Love Frequency Tarot. You know, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like this video. Again, share or comment how this is resonating with you. The more we interact on these videos, the bigger this channel is going to grow, and it's going to reach the right people in this community who are in resonance. And I greatly appreciate your contribution to helping this grow so we can find each other. How exciting to find, to have another watering pool on the interwebs where we can find people who are in resonance with the love frequency. All right. So let's pull some oracle cards here. This is going to be the self-care deck. Again, you'll find all of these decks in the description of my videos. But yes, this is the self-care. So what is a self-care tip for you as you learn to open up to your purpose and be guided by spirit? Thank you so much. Angels, ancestors, and spirit guides. What do we need to know? Okay. We keep getting these. I think it's so, like, you see how thick this is? I'm blown away by what keeps coming out. Whoa, confirmation burp. In these readings, we're getting some repeated cards. So here we are. Activate that intuition. Listen to the intuition, right? It's as simple as just listening. And how do we do that? We are still. So truly meditation or dream journaling is definitely the suggestion. Go inward. Go inward. Go inward. At the bottom of the deck, we also got watch a movie. Watch a movie. So maybe there is a movie that you've already seen that you can circle back to as a tool to recalibrate and reignite this spiritual knowing for you. I'm hearing What the Bleep Do We Know? For some of you, I'm sure you've watched that movie before. Maybe it's time to circle back to it and rewatch it, kind of reignite that intuitive knowing, right? But there's many, many other movies and films and media that can be that kind of divine ignition and really keep you on this path. If you have a suggestion, write it in the comments, because I want to watch those movies. I'm sure many other people here would like to watch those movies if we haven't already. It'd be great to just share our resources, share our insights, share our inspirations, you know? But truly the basis of this is we got to go inward and we got to be still. We got to do a whole lot of nothing and learn to receive the ideas, the thoughts, the downloads. Okay? For some of you, I'm hearing you're artists, so the inspiration for your art, whether that is visual, musical, dance, theater, whatever your medium of choice is, poetry, going inward and being still to get that inspiration, definitely watching a film or consuming some sort of like art film, dance film even, you know, that stirs that creativity. Perhaps this is what this reading is really trying to ignite, is to have us as a community share these ideas, you know, in the comments. So please, if you haven't already, if this resonates for you, go ahead and drop 333 in the comments and also share something that inspires you, right? That we can go check out on our free time or after this film, or after this film? What? After this video. All right. It is getting longer, so we're at almost about 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up here soon, okay? But the bottom of the deck is one last piece of advice, and it says, it's the, remember, don't forget, you are learning to be strategic with your actions, and you are learning to take inspired action. Okay, strategic. This is the Knight of Wands, and it came in reverse. So you got to be still and choose your actions wisely. You don't have to be busy. You have nothing to prove. Okay? This is about you and spirit, you and the love frequency, you and the universe, building this relationship of letting your curiosity bloom again. letting your dreams bloom again, letting your purpose be known, let yourself be visible, let yourself communicate it to the world. And you don't have to do it all in one day. You're going to be strategic when you make that action, when you create that content, or when you create that art, or when you communicate with that person. I was going to say employer. So for some of you, you definitely are looking for new work, or new work is trying to find you, right? But responding and like really being receptive to divine insight. For many of you, this is a completely new concept to really go inward before you take action. For some of you, you are riddled by anxiety. There's like racing thoughts, and it's like, how can I hear one thought, right? Spirit is saying, go inward, be still. Be still, close your eyes, and connect to your breath. Okay. And if you want to do something active, watch a movie. You still get to be still, right? And you still get to activate your intuition while you're watching, because you'll be listening from a different level of awareness. I'm so curious to see your suggestions of things to watch down below. Rose quartz also is something to ground yourself with, as well as tiger's eye. Okay, these two combined really are going to protect this fire inside. Okay, this love of life, this self-love that you're cultivating, that rose quartz, and then that really grounded knowing of tiger's eye, that protective the protection around your energy. Yeah, for some of you, this is going to be challenging because you're used to being really, really busy and doing it all, right? But you're being called to be strategic. You're being called to be strategic. Don't need to make every move. You can exercise saying no, okay? And just say yes to the things that are in alignment. We're going to pull, speaking of Abraham Hicks earlier, we're going to pull from the Abraham Hicks deck, Getting into the Vortex. And this will be our closing card. Thanks again for spending time with me. Wherever you are, whatever time of day, I hope that this resonates for you and serves you on your journey. And let's see here. We got two cards that popped out. I'll read them one at a time. If you were a parent or anyone wanting to inspire positive behavior from another, this is for some parents out here, or people in intimate relationships, we would do our personal vibrational work first. We would align with our source energy by envisioning the outcome we seek and by holding those involved as positive objects of our attention. We would not allow any current unwanted behavior to be the reason for our attention to them. Okay? So for some of you, part of these actions that you're taking is coming from a place of putting your attention toward the things you don't want, and then you're taking action from a place of not wanting something to happen versus going inward, calibrating, and getting very clear on what you want, and then taking action from that place. Okay, so we have that potent message, and then we have this other card. It says, when you remember that nothing can come into your experience without your vibrational invitation of it, And when you remember that the varied behavior of others adds to the balance and well-being of your planet, even if they offer behavior that you do not approve of, and that you do not have to participate in the unwanted behavior and will not unless you give your attention to it. Whoa, both of these cards came out? Okay, last sentence. It says, you become more willing to allow others to live as they choose. I'm going to actually read this last sentence one more time because I feel like that didn't quite resonate for me. Let's see. When you remember that the varied behavior of others adds to the balance and the well-being of your planet, even if they offer behavior that you do not approve of, and that you do not have to participate in the unwanted behavior and will not unless you give your attention to it, you become more willing to allow others to live as they choose. Wow. Okay, so for some of you, part of this, what's been taking over your mind, has been other people's problems, like their inner work, and you just can't do it for them. You just can't. It's too upsetting. It's knocking off your vibration. It's making you dysregulated, and when anyone's bodies are like triggered and overwhelmed, right? We have to come back to stillness and breath. Sometimes some somatic release techniques and some self-massage, and sometimes some meditation and prayer, sometimes some exercise or a great meal that gets all of your nutrients, like a healthy meal to ground you in goodness, in health, right? It takes a lot. If you are just going and going and going and kind of like acting from a place that's it's not honoring your well-being, right? Spirit is saying you do not have to participate. No, no, no. You don't have to participate. You may feel obligated to, but you don't have to. You can start exercising. No, going back to that message earlier. So really be mindful of where you're giving your attention lately. Be mindful. And go inward. And let it be playful again for you. Let it be playful again for you. All right, y'all. We're going to end here. I trust that this serves you and that you receive some messages that are in alignment for you. Again, this is for the collective, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you would like a personal reading with me, I do offer personal readings. You can find my email in the description below, and if you email me, then I'll email you what that looks like to work with me, and we'll find a time to sync up or do a virtual delivery, whatever works best. Also, if you get something out of this channel, whether it's the shorts or these long form videos, please consider donating to my Ko-fi link. You can find that in the description of this channel. Those donations help me to support transitioning into doing this more and more and more and more, and creating more readings for the collective. There's much more where this came from. There's much, much more, and I greatly appreciate your support. This is an exchange of energy, so again, liking, subscribing, sharing, donating, reaching out for a reading, however you feel, and whatever's accessible to you at this time. I just want you to know that your presence is the best present. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And I'll see you next time as we retune in to love again and again and again. All right. See ya. Bye.